Hi, my name is Love McPherson, relationship expert, and yes, Love is my real name. I'm asked that all the time, but I'm asked a lot of questions, especially about relationships, of course. And so that's why I have this show here called Ask Love. So if you have questions, feel free to submit them, and Love, who better to answer your question than somebody who's been called Love every day of our life, right? So ask me. And you know what? Today, we're going to be talking about the truth about first date chemistry. Let me just start off right here saying this. I believe that first date chemistry is highly overrated. See, you all have been just absolutely conditioned and spoiled by chick flicks and those characters who show up and you see the guy come out, poke out his chest, stand on the back of his legs, and fireworks happen. Well, guess what? That is not even usually anywhere close to what happens on the first date, and you really shouldn't expect that. That is just unreasonable expectations. So let's talk about why you may have a first date, you may not feel so much chemistry necessarily, but that person could deserve a second date. Here's 4 reasons. Number 1, that person may be experiencing fear of rejection. And don't think that that person, oh, they must be insecure. No, we all fear rejection. You say, I don't fear rejection. I don't care what people think about me. Oh, but you do. That's why you put on clothes before you leave out of your house, okay? And probably you want to be accepted. You speak the way that you should speak. You talk the way. You don't go out and commit crimes. Why? Because you don't like to be excluded. Okay? So what you want to do is realize that we all want to be accepted. Let me give you a tip. What you do when you first see a person on the first date, the first thing you do is greet them with a hug. Now I know it might feel that puts you out there, so you may be rejected, but don't worry about that. Greet them with a hug. It immediately breaks down the awkwardness, and they feel like, well, they saw me, they must be receiving me already. So it just breaks down the conversation, okay? So that was number 1. Number 2 is they just may be overwhelmed with your awesomeness. And I know that seems like, oh, they're a groupie. Well, they're not necessarily a groupie just because they are admiring you. What you know, it's kind of like this job. Have you ever had a job interview that you know that you're perfect for? You know you will be successful at, but you are just anxious about the interview. You just want to do well. Well, it could be the same for that date. You know that you're going to do excellent during that date. You know that that person is the right person for you, but you just need a chance, and you're hoping that they will give it to you. Okay? So that was number 2. Number 3 is they are protecting their heart. A lot of times when you see people protecting their heart, it's been hurt, it's been wounded. And you know what? Heartbreak registers to the brain the same as hot coffee being poured on you. I've had hot coffee poured on me, and not poured, but spilled on me, and it did not feel great. And so what I am telling you is this. When people have been burned, they don't want to be burned again. And so if they seem a bit guarded, just realize maybe they have been wounded, and so you just walk delicately with them, but that doesn't mean that they are immediately excluded. Number 4 is the person sitting on the opposite end of the table from you could simply be an introvert. That doesn't mean that they are less intelligent. That doesn't mean that they aren't thinking and rationalizing. They could literally just be enjoying listening to you speak about your life and just be inquisitive. And so don't rule them out just because they are an introvert. Give them a break. You want a break, right? And I'll tell you a tip on how to handle that as well. On a first date, avoid sitting across the table from someone, because that just makes things awkward when there's awkward silence, because you kind of look around, or you try to like look at your phone, but then that's rude to be looking at your phone during the first date. So if you look on the other side of people, you're just kind of looking around. They're kind of looking around, and it doesn't look like they're ignoring you or being rude. Okay, so that's another tip right there. So in conclusion, don't expect the world to drop. Don't expect the fireworks. Don't expect the ceilings to burst open just because you're on a first date and that is your indicator whether that person deserves a second date. Long-term relationships require patience. You will soon find out everything you need to know about that person, and it will not happen on the first date. Make sure that people who just are very awkward on the first date are not immediately excluded where you say, next, okay? Give people a break. You want one, all right? Love McPherson, relationship expert.